Hello friends, my name is Steve and this is Steve Talks Books. Thanks for coming by, watching my weekly update. So where I talk about what I've been reading, what I'm going to read, what I plan to read or what I won't get to, and everything else in between. If you're new here, I typically read grim, dark, and horror, but I'm open to any genre, just in matters of what appeals to me at any given moment. If you want to connect with me, the best place is on our forum at pagechewing.com. Register there if you aren't already. We have discussions there. We have our calendar with all the different meetups. You can reserve your spot for any of the different discussions we have with the Friday conversations, all that other fun stuff. That's the best place to find me. I can also be found on Twitter at Steve Talks Books. I try and use that less and less just because it's not so much fun all the time, but I also use Vero for all my personal stuff. So if you want to know about my bike rides or what I'm eating or drinking or my dogs or whatever, it's all there on Vero, and I am at that MFer on Vero. If you're looking for me there. Yeah, I know. I think it's funny. And I have a lot of long form content on my channel. So if it's easier for you to listen to the audio after the fact, if you miss a live stream, I do have a podcast. I'm on all the major podcasting platforms. So you can download the audio there. And if it's easier to absorb than watch it on YouTube, sometimes it's not as convenient as just plugging in your headphones or during your commute or whatever it may be. So let's start off with what I've been reading. So last week I did finish Negative Space, and this book left me lost to think about. It's one of those books and you finish and it really sticks with you long after the fact. I finished it early in the week and it's still stewing in my brain. There's a lot in that book. It's like existentialism. It twists reality. It twists consciousness, parallel universes. There's a lot. There's a lot going on in that book. And it's just so well done. There's so many great scenes in it that really kind of give you the chills when you read it. And the horror is very visual. It feels like you're reading a movie. And that one, it's very visual, very visceral. And some of the horror aspects are done really, really well, like bad dreams. That's kind of the best way I can describe it. But the horror aspects are things that you've probably thought of, like these weird, strange dreams you've had in the past. It kind of picks from those weird experiences. So really, really good. Really well done. I'm glad I picked it up. Glad I pulled it off the shelf and decided to read it. I'll have a review for it here soon. But really, really good. I did also start. Well, I was wondering what I was going to read next because I had some things in the air with different group reads and different discussions. So I wasn't sure what I was going to start next. But I did start Priest of Lies. It's the second book in the War for the Rose Throne series. I'm hoping to be having a series discussion with author Peter McLean here after the fourth book is released in August. So I decided to get into this one. The second book is better than the first one. I think there's a different spin on it. There are a couple of things that I'm not the biggest fan of. There's some phrases that get repeated, but I'm not too picky about that kind of stuff. It doesn't really bother me too much. I'm not very picky about that, so it's not a huge deal. But I'm enjoying the story. I think the story is more compelling than the first one, and I like where it's going. I think it brings up some interesting questions, and I can't say too much about it without ruining Priest of Lies for those of you who haven't read that, or Priest of Bones, excuse me, for those of you who haven't read that one yet. So this week I will be finishing Priest of Lies. I have about 100 pages left, so I should knock that out here, no problem. And then I will be starting Leviathan Wakes. It's the first book in the Expanse series. We are starting a group read for the series starting this month in July. So let's talk about what's been going on the channel the last week or so. And I quickly want to mention that Taylor from Made Between the Pages is now splitting hosting duties with me on Page Chewing. Our friend P.L. Stewart has so many guests lined up, and I wasn't able to keep up with all of them. So Taylor has been awesome, and she's filling in as a guest, and we'll be having some episodes on her channel. And Taylor's awesome at it, so she's a fantastic host. I'm really happy that she's on the Page Chewing team. So you'll be seeing some episodes on her channel, and some will be on mine. So we'll be announcing those as they come. But she did host episode 16, so go check that out. If you look on my channel page, it is on the playlist, so that episode will be listed on the playlist, or you can go to her channel and check that out. Be sure and subscribe and support Taylor because she is awesome at what she does. So we also had Page Chewing episode 17 with Pax Panic and Book Blather, and of course Olive came along for a while. But it was a great conversation. We could have just kept talking forever. We could have kept going, but we had a great conversation, and it's just such a joy to talk to two just wonderful people in the community who do so much, and just really friendly and have always been very supportive. So we just start talking, and before you know it, it's an hour and a half has gone by. So it goes really quick, and I really enjoy these open, kind of like an open floor, free flowing conversation. I'm really enjoying them because it allows everyone to ask questions or to kind of get involved and engage in the conversation. So it's something I enjoy quite a bit. Speaking of open floors, last week our Friday conversation was with Taylor came along, Epic Tales, Bryce from Shelf Centered, and of course Scott the Bald Booktuber came by to have a nice chat. We talked all things books, series, fantasy, had a lot of great topics we went over. So go check that out if you haven't already. And of course, also last week I had my review for My Heart is a Chainsaw. It is a short one. I couldn't say a whole lot about that one. It was that was a difficult one to review because I try to make them a little bit longer so I can, kind of add more thoughts to it, but I didn't have a whole lot to say about it. So it was a short video. And thanks again to Amanda from the Reading a Writer Life for letting me do 2 videos in the month of Stephen Graham Jones. Had quite a lot of fun. It was great seeing all the other content creators and their reviews during the month. So this week on the channel, I'm thinking I might do my halfway through 2022 update video because I had some goals at the beginning of the month or beginning of the year, and I think it might be fun just to kind of catch up and just see how I'm doing on my goals that I set for myself. See how I'm doing. It's good to see how halfway through how far along I am. I was a little ambitious with my goals, so we'll see. If I don't make them, it's okay. Just more of just a for fun kind of thing. Also on Tuesday, we're having Page Chewing episode 18 with Jeff Spite and Chris Russell. I hope I didn't mispronounce Jeff's last name. And on Friday, we have the Friday conversation lined up. So far, we have Yolene, Taylor, and RJ Gibson. We may have another guest or two. I'm not quite sure yet, but for sure, those are our guests on Friday night. Hope you can come by and unwind from the week with us. I really look forward to those. They're a lot of fun. I have such a good time relaxing on Friday nights with everyone in the chat. It's become like a Friday routine for me now, so I'm hooked on it. So thank you, all of you who come by and interact with us. It's just so much. It's such a great way to start the weekend. And I want to quickly update everyone on the upcoming group reads we have going on. So we will have a Prince of the Darkness That Comes Before discussion. I think I'll be with P.L. Stewart on that one and a couple other people. We don't have a date set just yet, but we will be doing that probably towards the end of July. The Leviathan Wakes discussion is July 16th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have a couple of people, like I said, joining that. Also, we do have a day and time for the Empires of Dust trilogy discussion with Anna Smith Spark. That is all set up. That is on September 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is all set up with Anna. We'll be meeting with her. Also, Anna told me that she'll be doing a giveaway for everyone who contributes to that discussion. If you want to join on stream or in the chat, there'll be some prizes that she's going to give away and some goodies to some people who participate. So all these events are on our forum, on the calendar. If you need help navigating that, let me know. Just RSVP. There is 4 more spots on the Empires of Dust stream. So if you're interested in that, be sure and RSVP. Save your spot because we don't have too many people. So save your spot for that if you want to participate in that. I think that's enough time for us to read 3 not so big fantasy books. So I'm going to start the first book here in the next week or so. And every week I like to shout out another Booktube channel. This is not a newer channel, but a channel I've been watching for a long time. And just want to shout it out because I think does a great job. And that is Bookends and Biscuits. Go by and check out her channel. She has book reviews, podcasts, recommendations, TBR videos, tag videos, and she recently did a video about rating systems that I thought was really interesting. How we're all different on how we rate and how we absorb books and how we apply a star rating to each book. The different ways that our reactions to different books, whether we're emotional or analytical, or how we look at the different types of books we're reading, how we break it down, and how we apply a rating to them. I think that's really interesting. It's really fascinating to me. So go check out that channel. A like, comment, a subscription, of course, helps out. Anything helps out because sometimes it feels a little lonely when you're getting started or when you're, kind of getting steam on the channel. So, and all that really goes a long way. So I'll link it down below. Be sure and go check it out and see if it's something you're interested in. So my question this week is, I mentioned earlier about some phrases that keep getting repeated in one of the books I'm reading. And I wondered, how picky are you about that? Are you very picky when you read about the writing, about the words and the sentence structures? Do you look at all that, or do you just look at the story? Do those little things, does it affect your enjoyment of what you're reading? Does it have any difference? Like when you're done reading a book, if you otherwise would have enjoyed the story, the characters, or whatever it was, does the quality of writing, or maybe an error, does it take away from your experience, or do you just kind of gloss over it and forget about it? So let me know down below how you feel about that. Is it a huge deal for you, those little things, or can you just get past it? And this week we did start watching Stranger Things season 4. I've never been like super excited about Stranger Things. I think the first season was pretty good. I liked what they did with it. The second season was also pretty good, and the third season was had its moments. The new season, the first episode, the beginning and the end were pretty good, and then the middle was. And look, I don't want. And I've noticed something lately that I've been a little. I don't know. I've been pickier about things I've been watching. I think it's because I'm reading so many different books, and I found myself absorbing TV and movies differently now that I'm reading so many more books than I did before. I wonder is that something that you've noticed too? For those of you who are heavy readers, do you look at other forms of media differently, like other storytelling, other ways of storytelling? Do you think differently about them now that you read so much? Curious to hear what you all think. But the middle of like the 5 minutes at the beginning and the 5 minutes at the end of that first episode of Stranger Things was pretty good, and then the middle, it just seemed like there was a checklist of 80s nostalgia. Like, okay, we need this list of things to hit the nostalgia button. Let's fit all these things in, and let's just check off the boxes and squeeze all these check marks of nostalgia points, just to kind of remind everyone we're in the 80s. It's just all the nostalgia. And I noticed too that it just seemed like people, like the actors, and it just seemed really like everyone is kind of sleepwalking through the whole thing. And maybe it's because it was filmed during the pandemic and there was a lot of craziness going on. Maybe that has something to do with it, but it just everyone seemed like they're sleepwalking through it. The acting and everything just seemed really flat. It just seemed off to me. Now the second episode was better. We're only 2 episodes in. So the second episode I thought was better, but it's still, something's just missing. Something that it had before just isn't there yet. And look, I'm only 2 episodes in, so it may get a lot better. So I reserve the right to say it made sense later, because you never know how it's going to work out. But so far, I'm not all that crazy about it. So, let me know what you all think about the storytelling, if it's different for you now that you read so much more, because I didn't read this much until the last couple of years. I didn't read as much. So curious to hear what you all think. So thanks for coming by, hearing about my week. I want to hear about your week. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? I always love to connect and hear about your week and talk to you about what you're reading, so I can add to my never-ending TBR pile. Or what you're watching. I want to check out new movies you're checking out, or new music. I've had a ton of great music recommendations that I've really found some great bands that I wouldn't have discovered without all of you. So thank you so much for the interaction. That's why I'm here. That's what makes it all special. Like I said, if you want to connect with me, all the links are down below. Be sure and check them all out. And before I let you go, I want to remind everyone that you can still join the India Corps. It's not too late. You have until July 4th to declare. So be sure and check that out. I'll leave all the links down below. Read some great books, talk some trash, and of course, you get cool points if you join the Dark Knights team. But the important thing is you join a team and just participate and have a good time. So you don't have to be competitive. It's more of just a for fun thing, and just find some great new books you may not have found otherwise. I know your time is very important to you, so thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with me, hearing about my week, what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what I'm listening to. Again, let me know how you're doing down below, or connect with me in any of the different platforms or our forum. Looking forward to hearing from you. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.